I started SAV School in 1998. What motivated me to start SAV School goes back to my childhood story. Uh, when I was at school in a western rural village, so my parents always wanted me to be a good person. So they always wanted me to go to school and learn better things for better education. Now, I come from very poor, farmers family, and though my parents were illiterate, they always wanted me to go to school and do something in the future. So I was in the school, and my school life was really good. I always stood first in my class among my friends, and learning was really fun for me. Then, when I was in grade 7, something happened to my during my exam examination time. Uh, so the exam was supposed to start, and I was just kicked out of the exam hall. I was not allowed to enter the exam hall because my parents hadn't paid the nominal school fees. It was an exam fee. So then I was out of the exam hall. Then later on, my uncle was also a teacher there. He came to school. He was a bit later that day. Then he asked me why you are standing outside, why you are not in. Then I said I was just sent out by the teacher. That moment was really and really I can't explain it well, really bad for me. And my uncle told me to go in. He talked to the head teacher. Since that day, I had a sort of feeling in my life. So the poor people like me were not able to go to school so easily. Then when I finished my school, later on, I started teaching in a private school. I taught in different private schools because I had to join my higher education. For that also, I need to earn something for my living. Then when I joined for higher education in Kathmandu, I moved to Bhaktapur there, and in Bhaktapur I joined teaching in a private school. At the same time, I joined the evening classes for my higher education. Then this way, both works, like teaching and my own education, went on. Then I taught in different, schools, private schools. After a few years, in 1998, one of my friends, who was from a village of Bhaktapur, so he wanted a school in his village. He wanted to start a new school in his village. He asked to many different school principals from the town, and some of them had visited his village. I came to know that later, but no one wanted to start the school over there. Maybe there could be different reasons for them. I went there to his village. He invited me for a cup of tea or something, just to see his village. Then when we reached to his village, he started to talk like starting a school. We were in the tea shop, local tea shop in the village of Bagesari. There were some people in the tea shop. Some of them were farmers, and some of them were other people. Like they seemed to be teacher or something in different professions. Then this talk started. The talk started about education, and they wanted to start a school in their village. Then some of the people agreed to that idea of my friend. When the talk started, some of my friends, the villagers, they We're supporting the point, and some of them were just neglecting some things. No, this man cannot run a school here, or people don't pay, or he cannot stay longer. Many people tried to do that, but no one has decided it. Then the talk went like this, and there were positive things and negative at the same time. Uh, then it was only that much that day. The next time, then we came back visiting his village. Then next Saturday also he wanted me to go to his village, and we went there. He had collected some other people, or some of them were the same people, and same thing happened in the next meeting too. Some of them really wanted to start a school over there, but some of them they really didn't want, or they were a bit negative towards this point. They said no, again same thing happened. You cannot run this school, or you will be in a trouble later on. You cannot stay more than 2 months. They commented like that. And those people who really seem to be real farmers, traditional farmers, and they seem to be not financially poor, so they said, okay, if you start a school, we can support you. So you do something. We need a school for our children, because it takes 1 hour or more than that to reach the school in the town. So it has been quite difficult for the children. So the roads are not good. They have to walk in the muddy trail in the monsoon, and children, we cannot send the children to good schools in the right time, right age. So those people talked like that, and other people like teachers or other people were just telling me, no, you cannot run this school or something. Same thing happened again. After the second meeting, something was striking in my mind. What I realized is that there were two ideas. The rich families, they didn't want to help me to study school, because after a little survey, I found that I asked my friend who was willing to start a school by me. So I asked him, and I did a little survey also there. I asked different people, why they really didn't like to help me to start a school. Then I found that their children were already somewhere in the town, or some of them were in Kathmandu, some of them were already in Bhaktapur, some of them were already grown up, and those people had no problem to send their children for better education. But the poor families, they really had, they didn't have place in the towns to keep their children at, and it was not possible for them to take them on daily basis. So it takes more than 1 hour one way. So it was completely different ideas for those rich people, or people who didn't like to help me to study school. And there was another idea was there, another thing was there. There was a kind of domination. I realized that. So rich people didn't want the poor family children go to British school. There were already public schools, but the education in the public school is a different thing here. The parents are not convinced by their education system or education what they are providing to. So those families, rich families, or kind of mindset they had, those families didn't want poor family children to go to British schools, because they think that way. If the children, the poor family children, go to better schools, they become better citizenship, or they will become better person in the future, and in the future will have problem to take them or to hire them for our work. So that concept was working at the time. So they didn't want to help me. But poor families, they're already, they have already understood about the situation, because some family children were going to better schools, but they didn't have opportunity, to send the children. That's why they were encouraging me to start a school. At the time, I was living in the town. Then something was going on in my mind. I was thinking why people think this way. I could just get two different ideas from that. Some people wanted to start a school, and some people really didn't like to support to start a school. Then next Saturday, I called my friends, and I talked to him. Okay, let's go again to your village. I want to go now. Then we went. He was really happy to hear that. Then we went next Saturday too. It was the third time. Then he had already informed some of the people. I know, obviously, many of them were in the tea shop. It was the morning time. Mostly people in the village are found in the tea shop in the morning. We reached there. There were some people, and he called some more people there. Then we started a talk again. Okay, then I said, okay, if you really want a school to be started, okay, I'm ready now. So whoever can help me, they can help. Or if some people don't want to help, it's not a problem. If there are only 2 students get enrolled, so I'll be stay there for a year. So I don't leave them, in between the year. Then the talk went like that. The people, they were really happy. Those people were happy who were traditional farmers, and whose financial status was really not good, as compared to other people. Some people were still telling me, okay, you did a very not you took a bad decision or not good decision, so you'll be in trouble. Wait and see. They talked like that. Okay, leave it. I'll stay here for 1 year at least. Then I have to think for the future of my life too. Then it was the talk like that. Then we came back. People were really happy. Those who wanted to support me, and other people just talked the same way as before. So it was the beginning of the SAV School. And later we hired 2 rooms in my friend's uncle's home for the children, and one for the office and one for the children. Slowly we bought some school materials like desk, benches, but we started with a mattress. Some people helped me supplying some mattresses in the beginning. Okay, it was the start. So we started school, and in the first year we only had 13 children when we started the SAV School in 1998. Then slowly school improved. We did lots of hard work, and the number reached 164 by the fifth year. It was in 4-5 years the number reached 164. It was running so smoothly. It was going well, and some of the community people were asking me, okay, help us to make our children free give us free seat or teach our children, free of cost. Then I told them, so some children whose financial status is really poor, we are giving a scholarship, and we are helping them. But your financial status is okay, so other children whose financial status, family financial status is lower than yours, are not getting any free seat or any support from the school. Then if we support you, like that, then I have to support all the children. So then school doesn't function. I told that, but some of them were really jealous about our progress. Then they just talked something against us in the community, and some of those people were really jealous because they couldn't get any financial support for their children, or some of them wanted to get involved or wanted to invest something in the school and would get benefits at once, in no time. But I said no, it is not possible, because we have to work very hard. We don't get any return very quick, so you must be patient for a long time, because we are trying to add up more classrooms, we are trying to give more facilities. Then they were not convinced, they just wanted to get some benefits. Then they started talking against us, and they grouped some of the people in the community, because in Bageshwari there are two different communities. One is Brahmin Kshetri community and another is Newari community, and some of those people who were asking for help were from Newari community. Newari community is really complex. They have very strong cultural bond. It is quite difficult to break their feelings or break their ideas. Once they think something, they can make a group easily inside their community. So at the same time, the school needed some more classrooms, some more playground for the children. Then I asked the landlord. The landlord was also from the Newari community. He was one of the Newars. Then in the beginning he said, okay, I'll try my best to build some more classrooms, and for the playground I don't have enough space, but the space, the field next to the playground was his relatives. So I asked him to convince them. So we are going to pay for the land, when we take it as lease. So then he was okay, but next day when he came back, so he just said, no, I can do nothing, so I cannot build another classroom, and I cannot find any other land, so you have to think yourself. He just talked like that. Then I was really sad, because in the first talk everything was positive, but in the second talk it just came like that. So then I tried to convince him, but there was already something in the community. They wanted to kick me out of the village, and they wanted to capture the school and school children at the time. Then it was a problem for me. There was not enough space for the playground. The classrooms, lack of classroom was there, because we were just upgrading the school, so we needed one or two more rooms. Then I tried to convince him a lot, but he wasn't convinced, because something strong against us was already there in the community. Then I had nothing to do, just to find another alternative. Then I called a parents meeting at the school. Then in the parents meeting, the same talk went on. So I had a problem, for the classroom, or the house owner doesn't want to make more classrooms, so there is no classroom nearby or no house for the school nearby. Then some of the parents of the children, they were already aware about this issue, and they just talked to me, okay, we are going to keep our children at home for a few days, just try to find another place for the school. But we cannot convince them. These people are so you know just they are what they think they do that. So now it is not good to try to convince them. It is better to find alternative. Then I went to my friend's uncle, where we started the school, and I talked about the same thing. So we need something alternative for the school. Then he said, okay, I have land over here, you can just use it as you wish, so you can just pay for the crops we grow in the yearly basis. Okay, it was okay, but it was quite difficult to build new classrooms in his field, because the field was really slopey, with many terraces. Then everything was okay, so I was a little bit relieved, so at least I got some place. Then that night, I couldn't sleep. I was just preparing my mind what to do next. Then from next day, I started, I planned to build some classrooms in his field, in my friend's uncle's field. Uh, then we built some classrooms. Then the school, we moved there, and they also started a school in the same house we ran for several years. So there were two schools that way. Then we had two schools were there. The catchment area was limited. The number of students is split it. Both schools had a fewer number of students, but I was really happy. Our school had more students than they do, and I heard they were 27 people in the beginning, and by the end of next school year, they came to 9 people in the management committee, and by the end of third year, there was single person handling the school, and they ran the school for 5 or 6 years, and they left the school, and we were existing. Our SAV school was still there. Then after they left the schools there, they had good connection in the town school. So the town school sent the school bus to pick up their children that year. Then slowly other schools from the town also sent school bus to pick up the children from the village, and some of them who could afford to pay in the town schools and the bus fare, and they started sending the children. And when the children saw them going to school by school bus, then again other children also wanted to go to school by school bus, and they were asking their parents to send them to schools in the town. And many children from the village nowadays go to the town, because after a few years, when I started the school, the economy of the village also was also improved a little bit, because they started off-seasonal vegetable farming. So when they started off-seasonal vegetable farming in the village, their economy is little better, and they could afford sending their children to schools in the town. And then we were running the school. Then last year, we made a decision to move the school somewhere, or to start another school and just stop the SAV school, because the number of children in the village started decreasing, because everyone would love to go to the schools by school bus. So many of them, started going to the schools in the town, by school bus. Then it was really problem for us to exist and to function. That's why we made a decision to move to another area where our help was really needed. Two schools started functioning in the village. They really didn't want two schools in the village because the catchment area was not so wide, so large. It was okay for one school. The student size and everything is okay for one school. But some of them thought that when the two schools split were there, when two schools started in existence, those people in the Newari community, they started telling other people, the villages, that okay, we are local people, we are here, our community, this is our community. So he is from outside, he is outsider, he is from somewhere else. So in other behavioral works or family issues, you need our help. He cannot help you that way. So they were convincing, telling the people, they were forcing them to send the kids, to their school. They really didn't want us to be there, they wanted to kick me out so that they will have enough number of students. And but that thing, didn't happen, because most of the parents, they have already understood what we could do at the SAV school, what we were doing there at the school, what was the result in the end of the school year compared to other schools in the town. They were really happy to see that, so that's why some of the parents, they neither sent their children to their school nor our school. They started sending some of them to the schools in the town. So then both schools didn't have children, and they had to work harder. Well, when we thought of stopping the SAV school and starting a new school, there is something, so in the SAV school everything was just to finish, and we thought of starting a TriKa, Tripur Kinder Academy. The full name is Tripur Kinder Academy, that is TriKa for short. So we decided to move to Narayanpur because we wanted to build some classrooms, new school over there. So the open world cause was trying to raise money to build a new school, and at the same time Nandri from Belgium was also trying to help us to build new classrooms. So in Bhaktapur we didn't have any piece of land to build on the new schools, and it was already said, so we wanted to make a move to a newer place where our help was really essential. So we decided to move Narayanpur Dang. There was only place we had. Actually, it is from Sudha, my wife, and the land was from her family in the beginning. So then we wanted to run a school over there, focusing the Tharu community. There also, the Tharu people are indigenous group of the Thorai, and they are called the son or children of the land. So their economic status and financial status is really poor. So we made that decision to help them there. then we started building the schools. Our main target is to be focused to Tharu community so that we can bring some changes in their daily life. Obviously, we want to expand our school in the future, but right now, this year, we have started with very young kids like nursery, group children, and we are trying to, promote, like nursery, kindergarten, and standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our focus is to make the school, fully equipped and giving more facilities to the children up to primary level in the beginning. After that, we can think further. Really, there are lots of challenges in that rural area too. There also I can see the same sort of things. There are two different, ideas among the people. Some rich people, they want to send their children to better schools, and Tharo people, they also want to educate their children nowadays. In the past, they really, couldn't send them to any schools, but they are looking for better schools in Naranpur, and most of the Tharo people, children go to public schools nowadays. But some of the Tharus, they have started working abroad. They also have started, sending their children to some of the private schools where they think education is quite different and better. Then most of the Tharu children didn't have opportunity to go to better schools in Naranpur. Then we decided to start, school focusing to them, but we still have, lots of problem challenges like, they cannot afford paying very, good school fees. They have problem with school supplies like pen, notebooks, or lunch, like that. They often complain, okay, so try to find some, sort of things, help for our children. They often, talk like that. So I've been trying my best to facilitate them. And so we already have started giving them some notebooks and pencils. They don't have to bring from home for the school use. And we are planning to provide them lunch at school. Oh, well, SAV School is in the Kathmandu Valley. Bhaktapur is the neighboring district of Kathmandu. The SAV School was located in Bageswari, a village of Bhaktapur, which is about 25, let's say 25 kilometers east to the airport of Nepal. Only one international airport, that is TIA of Nepal. But TriKa School is situated in Naranpur, Dan, which is more than 500 kilometers away to the west of Kathmandu. So it's a big move from SAV School to TriKa School. So it takes about 12 to 13 hours bus ride to reach there from SAV School. So we moved there because some of our relatives still live there. So that is the birthplace of my wife Sudha. So that also helped us, motivated us to run a school over there. Okay. I'm always passionate, I'm always, very happy to be among the young kids. So I always worked with very young kids. So from 3 years or 2.5 years to 16, 18 years children. And most of the time I worked with the very young kids from 2.5 to 12 years. So my goal is to make TriKa School equipped with modern technology, giving more access to the Tharu communities or people who cannot afford sending their children to other better schools. Anyone is okay. We accept any children from any community. So if their financial status is not good enough to send their children to other schools which are really expensive, and they will have access to our TriKa school. Tri means three. In Nepali also we call it three. And KA, that is Kinder Academy, abbreviation form of Kinder Academy, that is KA. And we named it TriKa because last year only the three different villages were combined to one municipality. It was called Tripur municipality. Three different villages became one a municipality in Dang that is called Tripur. So I chose the name to highlight the locality also, so that people living anywhere in any corner of the world can know, they will have opportunity to know, Tripur is Nepal. So when they know TriKa Academy, they also will have chance to know, Tripur municipality.